Playground! Hooray!
Becoming a beauty queen isn't easy. It takes talent, beauty, hard work, and money. If you become Miss America, there's a scholarship and a full-time job waiting for you. The Miss America Pageant, not to be confused with the Miss USA Pageant, was founded in 1921 and has changed over the years. The main difference that you'll notice is there's no longer a swimsuit competition. I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. My next guest was awarded the title of Miss Missouri in 1953 and went on to compete in the Miss America pageant. And it all happened by accident. She also happens to be my mother. We recently took a road trip together, and she told me the tale of winning the crown of Miss Missouri when she didn't even know what she was signing up for.
My name is Laura. I was Miss Missouri in the Miss America pageant in 1953.
So you were not into pageants. You were not a pageant girl, though.
Never heard of pageants. Never did any kind of modeling or anything that had to do with beauty contests.
Well, how in the hell did you become Miss Missouri then in the Miss America pageant when when you had never done anything like that before?
It was completely dumb luck. I was asked to participate in a beauty contest by a man I worked with at Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company in St. Louis. He stopped me in the hall and asked me if I would consider being in a beauty pageant, and I was with a friend who was with me, and he said, well, you might please do it. They need a substitute. One of the girls can't participate and they need someone else quickly. I thought maybe you would be interested, and you could wind up, winning some good prizes. I did not ask what the name of the contest was. I didn't really think I would pass the interview. So I agreed to go and be interviewed by the man who was running the contest. He talked to me a little bit and asked me, if I was engaged. First, if I was married, no. Are you engaged? No. Because back in those days, you could not be in the pageant if there was any chance that you would get married and have a baby during the year you were reigning. And
because it was Miss, not Mrs., right?
Right, it was Miss Missouri. I didn't think that I would be a part of whatever this contest was. When he said you're in the contest, you'll be Miss Normandy, which was the area I was from in St. Louis, and I said, what kind of pageant is this? What's the name? And when he said it was the Miss Missouri pageant, I said, I can't do that. I've never heard. No, I can't do that. There's no. You have to. You're going to be in it. He was very persuasive, and he said, yes, you're going to be in it. And the pageant's in 2 weeks. And he said, you have to have some kind of talent. Do you have any talent? Well, I had been a dancer in high school. I was also in plays and was sang a lot in school. And I said, well, I did this and I did that and I did that. He said, well, you'll be a dancer. We need a dancer. And I said, okay, what do I do now? He said, well, you put together a 3-minute, nothing over 3 minutes, put together a routine. Here's all the information. We got to go take some publicity pictures of you. And I'm stunned. I was so stunned, I didn't even know how to respond to any of it. But my girlfriend that was with me said, we'll take you over to get to the studio to get some publicity pictures taken.
Now, Mom, you went into this man's office?
Yes.
With your friend?
Well, she wasn't with me in the office. She was in the waiting room. She drove me down there because I didn't have an automobile and I didn't even know where it was. So she went along with me.
So in my mind, I imagine that you walk into a room and there's a big desk and a fat, bald man wearing a suit behind there smoking a cigar. And he's like, well, you look pretty good coming. Turn around and let's see what you look like going. Was it like that? Was he like...
It was somewhat, but the waiting room was filled with these attractive girls because they were all already participants, which I didn't know.
So you walked in there and there was a room full of beautiful women and you were all going in there one by one to talk to this man.
Right.
Okay.
That's absolutely. But he was a fat guy with a cigar, and he was actually a dentist. This was his dental office.
What?
But he was very overwhelming, and I never was around anything like that. And so when he he needed these publicity pictures taken. And I immediately, when I got a chance, we didn't have cell phones back then, got to a phone booth and called my mother and told her I wouldn't be home for dinner right away because I was in this contest. And what? And I said, it's the Miss Missouri contest. And I didn't even think about Miss America. I couldn't imagine I'd even be Miss Normandy, much less Miss Missouri. So that's how it went. I got a routine worked out, and the rest is history.
Well, the rest isn't history. So it's come time. 2 weeks later, it's contest time, and you've got your routine ready.
Right.
And so you show up for the contest. Did you guys have to like practice numbers together and stuff like they do today?
Well, they had the dress rehearsal night, but prior to that, they have a breakfast or a lunch. It differs in, I guess, different states. But that's when the judges come and have breakfast with the candidates, and they judge you on, your personality and.
So they're judging you before the contest even starts.
Yes, you get points on that. I guess there's a lot. I can't remember how the points went, but it was everybody's dressed conservatively. Miss Missouri Miss America is such a. It's very, very controlled, and they watch those girls. You can't have any kind of bad vibes going on, or you're eliminated. They also didn't like it if your hair was bleached or blonde. They wanted conservative-looking girls, and they gave a good image of what American beauty should be like. But you had that. Then we had the dress rehearsal, and that's the first time I saw any of the contestants perform. I only saw a few because you did it in increments, and it was. I didn't think I had a chance. Okay, so it happened, and I was one of the 5 finalists.
So, did you make friends with any of the other girls and meet them? Were you freaking out a little bit when you saw them performing?
No, I never freaked out at all because, first of all, I was performed a lot in high school, so I wasn't afraid of being on stage or performing. I heard a couple of singers that were wonderful. I also saw this really beautiful auburn-haired girl with beautiful legs, and I thought she'll be the girl. She'll be the winner. That's another story that
we'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
So it comes time for the contest, and you're out there, and you do a dance routine.
Yes, I did a dance routine,
and you end up getting crowned Miss Missouri.
Right.
These other women, had they been in pageants their whole lives? Were they pageant gals?
I didn't. It was so close in time that I really never got to talk to any of the other girls, except backstage when everyone was nervous and wondering who would be a finalist, and I never really knew any of the girls, so I don't know how often they were in pageants. I think the one that came in second had been in a couple of pageants, but I don't know. I lost track of her after the contest.
So you get up there and you're one of the 5 finalists, and what do you think pushed you over the edge to make you Miss Missouri over these other women?
Well, I did. The man who ran the contest told me afterwards, when after I had won, that this woman, the girl I thought was so good looking and thought would win, it was close between the two of us. And the last thing that they have in the pageant where they judge you is they ask you questions. They'll ask you 3 questions, and they're based on how spontaneous you are, and they don't want somebody up there that just mumbles and can't answer. It's not a right or wrong answer to anything. But,
so what did the redhead runner-up say? What was her question and what was her answer?
Well, there were 3 questions. What do you think were the 3 most important world events of the year? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? And that was the 3rd question. I forget what the 2nd one was. And I was just working as a receptionist at Liggett March Tobacco Company, and that was certainly, I didn't think was my dream job, but I wasn't sure. I didn't go to college, so I didn't have plans except to just get along and try to help out the family. But when they asked that question, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? I just said what I thought, which was, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life, but whatever it is, I want my parents to be proud of me. And the man who ran the contest said that won you the contest.
What did the runner-up say?
She wanted to marry a good, providing husband. And I thought, you won't have any trouble because you are good looking. But
what were the 3 most important events from that year?
That year, it was the end of the Korean War and the death of Joseph Stalin and the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. That's what came to my mind. I don't know what she answered because we were put back in the backstage so we couldn't hear the questions or what the answers were.
Oh, okay.
So
how did you find out that she said I wanted to marry a good providing man?
I think at that point it was down to the 2 of us.
Oh, and
I was just standing in the back behind the curtain, and I did hear that. I think one of the questions about important events was the execution of the Rosenbergs, which I thought, wow, you're smarter than I that's a good answer. So I wished I had answered that one. Anyway, and when they said I was the winner, it was down to 2 of us. And when they came down to the 2 of us and said the first runner-up, I was like, oh, wow, I got first runner-up. And I started walking out on the stage before I realized they said her name and not mine, and I had to run back. And she looked at me and said, hey, good luck in the Miss America contest. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be in the Miss America contest. I can't go. I can't do that. There's no way. All those girls will be beautiful. They won't even talk to me. No.
Where was the Miss America pageant held?
Oh, it had always been in Atlantic City, New Jersey from the very beginning.
So you found out that you were going to be going to Atlantic City to go compete as Miss Missouri in the Miss America pageant right then and there from the runner-up?
Right. It just never dawned on me that I would win. If I came in one of the top finalists, I would have been thrilled to death. You know, they had the trophies back there. And I thought, maybe I'll get one of those trophies now that I'm one of the 5 finalists. I just, I still to this day am astounded that happened.
Was there an after party? What happened afterwards? Did you guys all mingle afterwards, or did everybody just go home?
There was a representative from Atlantic City, New Jersey that was there. He was at every one of the state contests. The man that ran the contest and his wife and this representative, we all went out to dinner somewhere. It was late, went to a pizza parlor, I think. But my parents were there and a lot of my friends and all, and my great-grandfather was there. And when they were taking pictures for the newspaper after the contest, we were all up there, and my great-grandfather started to get up on the stage to give me a hug and a kiss, and they went to stop him, and he's an old Texan, and he said, no, by God, that's my great-granddaughter, and I'm going to get up there and give her a hug, and they all backed away, and he did. And I never got to see that picture, and to this day, I wish I would give anything to see that.
Well, how long was it before you had to go to Atlantic City?
2 weeks.
It was only 2 weeks, and then did you have to perform the same number, or did you have to come up with something different?
No, I did the same one, only I did to a recording of a popular recording artist then named Percy Faith. It was her orchestral piece.
So was it like a fast dance? Were you shaking your butt out there?
It was called Jamaican Rumba, and I didn't even have a costume. I had some red, they call capri pants, and I had a red shirt that I tied in the middle and some big earrings, and it was a modern dance, which we call modern dance then. I think they call it lyric dancing now, where it's interpretive dancing, and I did that in high school. Did
the other girls all have like costumes, like full costumes, and
I never had any really professional dance training. I learned to dance modern dance in high school. I had never had any dancing lesson. A lot of them were, one of them was a professional dancer. So I didn't see, you're backstage or you're in another room for practicing. You didn't sit there and see the whole show. So I just knew that the 2 of the finalists were singers, and they had beautiful voices.
So you get on a plane to go to Atlantic City?
No, I had never ever been on a plane before, but we drove.
You drove? Did you drive with your family or with the rest of the contestants?
My family didn't go. They couldn't have afforded to go, but Miss America Committee pays for any way that you want to get there, and my sponsor, who was the man who ran the Miss Missouri contest, went, and his wife came along as you have to have a chaperone from your state.
Okay.
And then when you get to Atlantic City, they provide you with a chaperone. You are never without a chaperone. You may not speak to any males except your sponsor, and that has to be arranged in the lobby of the hotel where you are situated.
Is this for safety reasons?
That, and they don't want any kind of scandal or anything that could go wrong with the Miss America.
They were afraid that you guys might be hooking up with some of these dudes that might be talking to you. Is that what they were afraid
they
of?
all want to talk to you. They want your autograph. It's amazing. It's amazing, but you're very, very protected.
I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. I'm talking to Laura, who also happens to be my mother, who was Miss Missouri in the Miss America Pageant in 1953.
So you go to Atlantic City, and then you're there for how many days before the contest?
I think it's 4 days because they have preliminary contests.
And how far did you make it in the preliminary contest?
I don't know, because if you aren't one of the 10 finalists, you never find out where you placed. But I could see I was not of the caliber of a lot of these girls.
You were outshined.
I was, although the newspaper picked me as one of the 10 finalists. The Atlantic City, whatever, I can't remember what, but it is big news all over that. It was in pictures all over the newspaper with a lot of the other contests, like the Midwestern girls. I became friends with a couple of the Midwestern girls. We kept in touch for 2 or 3 years afterwards. They were all wonderful.
So the contest happens. You're not one of the 10 finalists. So basically, the contest goes on, and you're just one of the backup.
Oh yeah.
You do performances with the rest of them. There were dances, choreographed dances, and whatnot that you guys did.
Yes, it's very well organized, arranged. I met stars. Mel Torme was the.
You met Mel Torme?
Met Mel Torme, and so backstage, everybody's wonderful. I think Eddie Fisher was one of the people that performed. Was in the big convention center, which held thousands of people, and they're all the seats are sold, and it was an amazing experience. It just.
Do you remember the woman's name who became Miss America that year?
Oh, sure. Her name was Evelyn A.Y.
And did Evelyn A. ever go on to be anything?
No, she never did. She was a very sweet, nice girl. I was surprised she won. I thought there were 2 or 3 others that, I should have won, but I wasn't a judge, so.
Did you feel like the contest was based on looks or talent?
Or both. Talent now is very important. It wasn't then because they didn't have the contest. They didn't show it on TV. But the most important thing then was what you looked like in a bathing suit. And Evelyn A. definitely looked good.
What sort of a bathing suit did you have to wear?
Well, you wore a one piece. You had to have a one piece. They preferred, just because they think you look better in a white swimsuit, which I did not own, and this was August.
Oh, you had to bring your own swimsuit?
Oh,
they
yeah.
Provide the swimsuit?
No, that's the Miss Universe contest. They provided Catalina's swimsuits then. But, and my poor father was running all over St. Louis trying to find a white swimsuit for me. No one had them. It was August. They had winter clothes out already.
So what'd you wear?
I borrowed Miss Illinois' white swimsuit.
Oh, okay. Well, that was nice of her.
Well, you do your the contest, the preliminary contests are all done in sections. One night, a certain amount will do swimsuit, and others will do talent, and others will do evening gown. But I was able to borrow a swimsuit from Miss Illinois. I took one, but it was not a great swimsuit. But they keep you're entertained all the time.
So then what, afterwards, you're done, you don't win Miss America.
Right.
They send you home.
No, there's a big ball afterwards, and you are assigned dates who were from the U.S. Naval Academy, all dressed in their whites, and you don't have any choice. I wouldn't have known anyone anyway, but they draw a name out of a bowl, and this is the guy that will be your escort.
So you were required to go on dates with military dudes?
That was the same night as the don't worry, there was no fooling around, and the judges all came. I don't know, if you even know who Jeanette McDonald is, but she was one of the judges, and
These are famous people from the 1950s.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, she was. You see old movies, and she was a singer, and she was there that night. But it's a ball. You know, you aren't even thinking about whether you won or lost because you're still the queen of your state, and you know your state still loves you, and it wasn't that important. I was still, to this day, I'm in shock.
So there's the ball. You go on these dates.
Right.
And then how long are you in Atlantic City for, and what else did you do?
Nothing. You go home after that. The next morning, they're all into taking all the pictures of Miss America. And she's there for about a week where they're doing publicity stuff. And they do a lot of, costuming for her and getting her ready to spend her year as Miss America.
And so you come back to St. Louis, go back to St. Louis, and then you have like duties as Miss Missouri.
Right. The sponsor is the one who has these personal appearances that you make. So that did a lot of those things around. I went to, some of the cities in Missouri, and Miss Illinois and Miss Chicago, we did some personal appearances together in the state of Illinois. That were kind of fun.
And so people came to see you and get an autograph from you,
right.
like your picture and stuff? Probably weren't pictures back then, too many, but...
Yeah, they were taking pictures. When I went to, and like I said, I'd never been on an airplane, but I flew to St. Joseph, Missouri, and this big department store sponsored me there for the day, and that was exciting. It was my first flight.
When you showed up to the store, the department store, there were people waiting for you?
There was a line of young girls around.
It was females. You had female fans.
Well, young teenage type girls. They're fascinated by you, and you want to be sure that they want to be sure that you're behaving properly. So you always have a chaperone. You're never without a chaperone.
It wasn't a line of men. It was a line of teenage girls.
Oh, well, the men aren't allowed to talk to you.
Oh, you're not really?
Absolutely not allowed to talk to men without the permission of the Miss America.
So they couldn't come and get an autograph from you?
Yeah, back in your own state they could, but you still are under scrutiny. They're watching you. I think it's a good idea, but I didn't care to talk to any of them anyway.
And then, so what's more important from the Miss Missouri pageant is you met your husband there.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned the auburn-haired girl that was a knockout with the great figure.
Yep.
That you beat. And as it turns out, she was Dad's date.
She was his date. He had been dating her, and he was Greek, and he had my girlfriend was Greek, and they saw each other in the audience at the intermission. And when he said to my friend Angie, why are you here? And she said, well, I'm really good friends with Miss Normandy. She knew that he was dating because all the Greeks know each other and know everything about each other. And that's why he was there to see her. And
then how did you steal him away from that redhead? That redheaded tramp, Mom, tell me.
Oh my, that was another stroke of luck. He said, she's really cute. I'd like to meet her. And
while he was there to see his girlfriend.
Right. Well, I guess when he told me she wasn't a serious girl, she was not his girlfriend. It wasn't serious. I guess he was telling the truth. But
one of your friends told you a little something about him and that redheaded girl.
Yeah.
What did she tell you?
Yeah. Well, they were double dating a few times, and he was always making out with her in the back seat. I thought, oh boy. So when
you would never do that, would you, Mom?
Well, he knew that right away.
So he said, I want to meet her, and you said, okay?
Well, she said, I'll ask her, and she called me and said that, he's a nice guy, he's good looking, and he's rich. Two of those things were right. The rich wasn't.
And you said yes?
I said, yeah, he could call me. So he called, and I even liked him on the telephone. He had a really nice personality, he was funny, and he definitely was good looking. When he walked in the house I had never seen him, and when we went out on a date, he arrived before I came downstairs and was ready to go. And
you're living with your mom and dad at this point.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19 years old, living with your parents, Miss Missouri, and this handsome Greek man comes to pick you up at your parents' house.
Right.
And what did he do?
Well, first of all, I'm the second oldest, so I have a three-year-old sister. I came down, and my little sister Monica, who was 3, was sitting on his lap, and he got points right away. Right there, the fact that he thought it was fine to have this little one sitting on his knee. I thought, well, he's got to be a nice guy. So I liked him right away. Before the night was over, I know he was the one I wanted.
Did you kiss him on the first date?
You bet. And I couldn't wait to start kissing him because he really smelled good.
Ugh, gross. And then how long was it before you became his girlfriend?
Well, pretty much right away.
That was it. You never stopped.
Yes, he called me to go to the movies this next night, and I never went out with a guy 2 nights in a row.
Really?
And I said yeah. So we went together.
How long did you guys date before you got married?
A couple of years. It would have been sooner, but we had some differences of religion that caused a problem for a while. We're married for 66 years.
How did he propose to you?
He never proposed to me. I said, are we just going to date or are you going to marry me?
You proposed? Really?
Yeah, and he's, well, yeah, you want to get married? And I, well, I'm not wasting my time with you. So anyway.
That's how it happened?
Right.
No wonder you've never told us that story. And so you meet this man, you're Miss Missouri. What else happens as part of that? You don't continue doing anything else, but you end up getting some gigs out of the Miss Missouri.
Right. Yeah, I did some modeling stuff, which I'd never done before. And I was part of a dance group called the Riverton Dancers, and we performed on television and at industrial shows. And so that all came because of being in the Miss Missouri contest.
And so how long did you continue doing that?
Oh, gosh.
Performing and being on the TV?
Well, that was until I got married and had my first baby. But,
so you were still doing this when you got married?
Right, and I was able, well, I still worked, I had a regular job. All of the models had a regular job because we didn't have a modeling agency back then, and there wasn't a lot to do at the different studios. So that would, it was part-time.
So when you were young, though, when you first got married, did Dad go along and help you with the modeling?
Oh, he was fine with it. He didn't help me. He wasn't any help, but except that he babysat for me when I went. No, he liked it. In fact, they used him sometimes in ads with me because he was very handsome. But it wasn't something he really enjoyed because he was a little on the shy side about that.
And that's it. What was your favorite thing about being in Miss Missouri?
Meeting Dad.
Meeting Dad was
absolutely hands down.
Now, did you ever talk to that redheaded girl again?
We saw her out one night when we were going to a concert or something. She was in the audience with a guy, and she kind of looked at us like, "Oh my God, that's what happened to him. He married her," or I was going with him then. No, I didn't see her.
You never talked to her again, but she did tell you congratulations at the end of the night.
Yes.
She was the runner-up.
Yeah.
And then you went and stole her man.
I stole her.
You stole her crown and her man.
I did feel kind of bad about it because I knew she was crazy about him.
What was your least favorite thing about being in the pageant?
Well, there is one thing. It had nothing to do with the pageant, but my picture would be in the paper I shouldn't say quite a lot, but once in a while. And they always said your address, daughter of so-and-so.
Oh, they really made it easy for people to come get you.
Well, and I used to get phone calls and I got mail. Most of it was nice fan mail from guys. Nobody did anything. But then every once in a while I would get some obscene something. And somebody was continually calling me. And my parents called the FBI and said, this is what's happening. They talked to me and had me set up a time to meet this creep. And I, of course, wasn't going to go, but he never showed because they were down there waiting wherever it was.
Really?
But I didn't get any more calls from that particular one. But periodically, I would get a call from some creepy guy.
So you were basically getting the old-fashioned version of a dick pic from dudes.
Oh my! Well, I never called.
Today, Mom, it's called a dick pic when they take a picture of their penis and send it to you unsolicited.
Well, I think he drew it. I didn't know what it was. I showed my mother, and she told me what it was.
Oh my God! So your mom saw it?
Oh yeah. Well, they were worried. I never knew what was going on. Even after I was married, I got some calls from creepy guys. That I would never have had that much of that stuff, or the mails or the calls, if they didn't put the name and our address. So that was it. But it was an absolute thrilling experience in the Miss America Association. was very protective of the girls, and I could never find a thing wrong to say about them at all.
This would never happen today. Competition for a state title is intense, and people start competing in pageants as children. My mom was in the right place at the right time, and she's been left with some beautiful memories, great photos, and a story to tell, and a husband. Thanks for joining me on Delightfully Different. Coming up next week, I'll talk to a WNBA dancer. If you or someone you know lives life differently, hit me up. LexiOnTheRadio@gmail.com. LEXI on the radio@gmail.com. Or go to DelightfullyDifferentPodcast.com. And have a delightful week.